Hi, my name is Matthew Buckman. I'm the General Director of Townsend Opera. Well, I'm actually very excited about this production because a couple of years ago the James Irvine Foundation funded a new initiative called Opera Remix, which gives us the opportunity to explore different things around different productions to try to make them appeal more broadly to a wider audience. And so with this production in particular, we're exploring a couple of different things related to the story in La Traviata. We updated the production to the 1980s in San Francisco, kind of at the start of the AIDS epidemic. And a couple of things we're doing around the show allow us to explore American culture and how this story fits in with American culture. One of the goals of Opera Remix is to recontextualize opera for modern culture and to make it more accessible to a modern audience. And so to do this, we updated the story in La Traviata to a more modern setting in San Francisco in the 1980s. And to properly prepare the audience for what they're going to experience, we're going to have an art display and a photography exhibit in the lobby of the Gallo Center before the show so that we can see how the AIDS epidemic impacted American culture. The goal of that is to try to get the audience member in the right frame of mind to be able to experience Violetta's anguish and heartache and the story behind the decisions she makes. And so audience members, when they come to the theater, will see a photo exhibit that gives you an idea of how the AIDS epidemic affected American culture, particularly in the arts. So you'll see people who have passed away as a result of AIDS. You'll see information about what AIDS is doing in the world today. And hopefully that will give you an idea of the human experience of AIDS so that when you walk into the theater, you're already in a place where you can empathize with Violetta and better understand her story. The reason for updating La Traviata, which has been in the repertoire for years, is to present the story to our audience members in a context in which they can better understand and better empathize. Violetta in La Traviata dies of tuberculosis, which is not a disease that's in our current culture in this country. And so audience members, I think, will have a more difficult time relating to the suffering that Violetta goes through. By updating it to 1980 San Francisco and by making AIDS the focal point of her illness, you provide audience members with a very vivid experience that they can remember in their lifetimes. Most of our audience, if not all, will be either aware of or will have lived through the AIDS epidemic that really frightened this country for about 20 years, and will be able to connect emotionally more to the character with their own background, having lived through it. So that's the primary reason why we update a story like this to the modern times. Well, Opera 911 for us is a way to take our patrons backstage and behind the scenes of an opera production. Oftentimes there's a real significant disconnect between the audience member and the people and the product that they see. You just show up and you see an opera and you really don't have any idea what it's taken to make that possible. So Opera 911 for us is an opportunity to take the viewer backstage, show you everything that happens backstage, all the different people that are involved and their personalities, and also just provide a little bit of levity to what is often considered a very boring and stuffy experience. Opera has the reputation of being a little bit boring and people think we take ourselves too seriously. So Opera 911 is an opportunity to show that we really do have a sense of humor, we really have a good time doing what we do, and at the same time showing the viewer really the amazing amount of work and skill that it takes to put on an opera. So with this year's Opera 911, I think you'll see a lot of really entertaining videos with some of our key players involved in the production team, and you'll learn about what happens backstage and hopefully be entertained as well. Well, we've got a number of things planned for you through both the Opera 911 videos as well as some other interviews we'll be releasing. Over the next couple of weeks you'll get a lot of interviews with the production team, an interview with Joe Wiggett, the director of the show, as well as some of the key production members who are involved in building the show and putting it on the stage. You'll get some very interesting interviews with some of our key artists and singers who are performing in this show. And also when you show up at the event, you'll see a number of different things happening in the lobby that again bring you behind the scenes, as well as the interviews with the cast members. You'll get to, in the lobby, see makeup being applied to some of the cast members, so you get an idea of what that looks like. You'll see a live video of what's happening in the 5 or 10 minutes before the show starts on a big screen in the theater. So when you're sitting there getting ready for the show to start, you'll be able to see what's actually happening backstage and see the organized chaos that exists when you're getting ready to put a show on. So there's a lot of different things you'll get to see. So I encourage you to come back, visit the website on a regular basis. We'll be releasing videos every day or two, I think. And so come back, check out the website, and see what's going on.